and it clicked me out of here. So I'm really sorry. It's the two of us. There's probably nobody on yet anyway, but we're gonna go live. If you were here a second ago, we're back on with Stone from Onefinity. We're going live on YouTube and Instagram, and the problem is that Instagram is a pain in the butt and wants to be difficult. I don't know why. It just likes to do that, but we're gonna go live right there, right now. All right, we're good. Okay, so
We
now,
live both places now.
yeah, we are. Hey, there's Sarah over here. Hey, Sarah. Um, so Stone from Stonefinity, my friend, my roommate, because we shared a room the one time at IWF,
Yeah.
which was a blast. My first question, my favorite question, because as I mentioned a couple different times, I am a superhero fan. Stone, what is your origin story? And to be fair, hi, Matt. Everybody who's here, here's a guy. Oh, my buddy Ryan's here. This is why I wanted to talk to Stone, because his origin story is different than so many other people's. And I want to be able to talk about that and sort of move that into the wood shop and workshop discussion. So back to you, my friend. What is your origin story?
So, I had no plans of getting into CNC uh, manufacturing or sales or any of this stuff. I actually, well, I guess I'll back up. I started out doing a lot of like wood carving and just little things here and there when I was younger. My grandpa worked for Sears. He was a craftsman, so he built furniture for Sears back when they used to actually do it all in the stores by hand.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's really cool.
so yeah, he was a wood turner. So he liked to work on the lathe. Um, he'd kind of stopped doing all of that pretty much by the time I came around. But he was always watching the wood channel, and I'd sit there and watch it with him as a little kid, and I thought it was really cool to watch. My dad is also really handy, so I learned a lot from him growing up about mechanical stuff, a little bit of wood carving here and there, and just little things like that. So I've always kind of liked to work with my hands and do that kind of stuff, just kind of make stuff.
Right.
But I never thought of it as like a career option. So I started out going to college as a biology major. And I was pre-physical therapy, so I was going to go and get my doctorate in physical therapy. Um, that was the plan, and I did a semester of that, and I absolutely hated taking all the chemistry classes that I had to do for my biology degree.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved the biology part and the anatomy and all that stuff, but I hated chemistry. So I changed my major after one semester at college to marketing, and I did an internship with a nonprofit organization over the summer. I loved it, and then I thought I was going to do nonprofit marketing, which is a terrible, terrible career choice. There's no money in it, but that's what I thought I was going to do. I really wanted to do it. I enjoyed it, and then I really just kind of had Onefinity fall into my lap. My junior year of college, I was approached. Mark was looking for somebody to make videos that was just, somebody that would make a video. And a mutual friend connected us, and he asked if I would do it for a little bit of money here and there on the weekends. So on my weekends during my junior year of college, I started making the Onefinity videos just kind of in my free time for some extra money, broke college kid. Part time. It was pretty easy. I just went in, kind of followed a script at first, and kind of, changed things here or there. But for the most part, was just being told what I needed to do, and then I kind of got into it and got more involved, and that turned into a full-time thing.
Wait, so you were like, first, obviously, I want to say hi to everyone. Matt's wife. He laughed because he said his wife is a chemist. Yeah, nobody likes chemistry. Andy, I love you, brother. You know what? So you went into their shop with their machine, and they said, "Here's what we want you to do," and that's all it was.
Oh, hold up. I tried to pull up Instagram so I could hear the comments. I'm trying to figure out how to mute it.
Don't worry about it. Don't.
Oh, I got it. Good.
You got it. Okay.
But so
Joined.
So I am not from Canada, obviously. I'm from Texas. I'm from Dallas.
Okay.
Um, but the first machine, they shipped it to me so I could film it, and I just filmed it in front of like a white wall on
Okay.
what was actually a couple of folding tables with a piece of MDF on top of them. So like I didn't have a shop at all. I was just kind of working with what I had, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was literally just like making videos. I didn't know how to use the machine at first. Um, I had like, I had a tiny, one of those little bitty tabletop machines that you can't really do anything with other
Yeah.
than,
Yeah.
like play around. But other than that, I had no experience with it. So I was just making a video and putting stuff together. I didn't
Were
actually.
they were they sending you files to carve and stuff like that?
No, so whenever I started carving stuff, that was all like I was just learning it and doing it as I went.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, you were just
Yeah,
like, okay, I got to figure
exactly.
this out.
Yeah, so like obviously like Onefinity from the beginning we've sold Vectric and Carveco.
Right.
So I started out with I guess I'm spoiled. I started out with the Spire just because like they sent me a license because we sell their
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I started out with that and I just got on YouTube and started watching videos, like Vectric's videos, a lot of that. I watched a lot of Kyle from Learn Your CNC.
Okay.
Um, and I just learned how to, start with the basic stuff and then work my way up. Um,
So, okay.
but yeah, that was it. I mean,
So you have the machine. What size was it? Like a 30 by 30?
my
One of the
first, well, the first machine like for the assembly video was a 32 by 32, but then I didn't keep that one because that was like the first machine. So Mark got that back, uh, but I got a machinist, which is like the 16 by 16. So and that was the first machine, and I just had that and like I practiced with it. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't need something huge. I wasn't going to be doing big projects, but it was enough to like learn with, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So you start off there now. You got the 16 by 16. And how did this partnership with Onefinity, how did it grow from, you're making a video a week, a video or whatever on the
Yeah.
weekend?
So like I said, I was in college when it started, and then got towards the end there, and it was like March, and they offered me a job full time starting in May of that year, and that was 20. I started the videos in 2020 when everything was launching. So we launched in April or May of 2020, and then in August was when I started. Like the first week of August was when I did the first video. So I did that all through August through March, I guess. And then March was when they gave me the job offer to come full time and then start doing, all of that other stuff, the support and kind of getting into the other stuff that I do now. But it all started with the videos, and then they hired me to do support technically.
So
Um,
did you have to move?
no, I do all that remotely. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So now they hired you to do all of this support stuff. You're talking to people on the phone. Was that it?
It's not as
Stone
much
on the
though.
phone?
At the
Was it ever
beginning.
wait, was it ever Stone on the phone?
I've never said that. No. I do talk to some people on the phone now more than I used to, but um, most of the support we try to do through an email just because it's hard when you have a limited number of support agents
Right.
and, however many tickets at a time that could be open. We have
Right.
tens and tens of thousands of machines out there.
Right.
Um, I don't know the exact, but I know there's a lot of people out there, and it's a lot to manage to have a good system to do that, and it's hard to kind of regulate how much time you're spending on the phone because you get on with one customer and you could be on the phone for an hour and a half,
Right. Right.
but if you're doing it in an email, you could do 20 or 30
Yeah.
different tickets in that same amount of time. So
Right.
it's
So
just kind of managing resources.
all the support is in the US though, and or Canada.
Hmm. Yeah, it's all
Okay.
US and Canada.
All right, so I'm coming back to this whole thing because I want to finish. I want to get this big picture, right? So now you're there, you're doing support. Uh, Stone, how long have you been with Onefinity? So it's what, about 4 years now?
Yeah. So since August of 2020 was when I started part-time, and then I went full-time in May of 2021.
Right. So you're coming up on 4 years
Yeah.
here. So how did that build to you being the vice president of customer support?
I mean, honestly, that title doesn't really mean a whole lot.
It
I
does.
mean,
We're gonna say
we're not a huge company, but we're I mean, we're not tiny, but we're not big either, you know. So like I kind of just do a lot of different things, and to be honest with you, when I go to like trade shows and things, if I just walk up and I don't have any title at all, people are just kind of like, who's this guy? And you're trying to talk to people about business, and it's hard to do that when people don't, you know,
yeah.
think like I walk up and I know like I'm younger than most people. People aren't going to expect me to be in a position to do business like that. So the title, I was talking to one of my bosses, one of our owners, about a show I'd been to, and I was like, yeah, a lot of people just kind of shrug me off because like I'm young, and they think people that are young and don't have a lot of experience aren't in those positions. So he was like, just throw vice president on your card as a joke, um, and it kind of just stuck, and then that was that. So
Well, I mean, but it makes sense. Like you can't. You yes, you're not gonna. Most of these companies, especially not even with the age. The fact is that they have at those trade shows, which we were talking about earlier. There's so many people coming up, so many people talking, walking through these places that you're just a random dude, and you say, "I work at Onefinity." You could be the guy packaging boxes.
exactly. But
You
it's
know?
just one of those things. Like I said, it doesn't really matter all that much. Um, but like the people that know what I'm doing and that we're working with, like they know that I'm getting stuff done. I'm not just
Right,
like the guy packing boxes. Not to say that those guys aren't important, but like I have a lot of different responsibilities that are not just making videos.
right. Right. Well, I mean that's the thing, including like we talked about going to these trade shows, going around and talking to all those
Mhm.
people. Um, uh, so what I'm curious about, and I want to come back to the trade shows in a little bit because I think that's huge. I've been to a couple, and I think it's really neat. Um, now you have a shop now. What machine do you have at your place now?
So, well, Onefinity pays for my shop, so it's a rented space. Which
Nice.
is really nice. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I have it because of Onefinity, but it is nice because I've got room for some bigger tools that I don't have room for at home. Um, but I've got one of every machine in there actually. So I've got all four of our Onefinity,
Oh,
different sizes, both the Pro, the original, the Elite. Got that all. So
well, that
um,
makes sense.
yeah, so I've got all that stuff in there now. But currently, I've got the Harvey G700 dust collector, um, and then I've got the Harvey Alpha bandsaw. So
Oh, wow.
got both of those, and then I think I've actually got a table saw I'm going to be getting here pretty soon. So I was
From
talking to
Harvey
Karen
also.
the other day. Yeah. So they've actually got this is something cool, and this will kind of tie in here in a second. So I'll save that, but uh, this is kind of something cool because I know this is one thing you wanted to talk about. Uh, but like I said, I've got the Harvey bandsaw and the dust collector in there. I've got my Surf Prep vacuums, the POV 8. I've actually got one of those at home too. I love that thing.
That's
Um,
nice.
but those at the Surf Prep sanders, I've got the 5-inch and the 3x4 in there. Um, I've got a Cobalt chop saw, but that's another tool I acquired. I didn't actually pay for it myself. So, um, but I don't actually have a ton in there right now. I mean, I've got a lot of smaller stuff in there, obviously, and hand tool. Not a ton of hand tools, but uh, some hand tools and then drills and drivers and things like that, circular saws. But
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have
So
anything crazy in there really.
no, but I mean, you've got a good selection. I like the dust collection. I've heard great things about that Harvey dust collector.
Hmm.
So what was I'm gonna take a side quest here. I'm gonna go on a side quest. What was the first thing that you built with this stuff that was not directly tied into, hey Stone, we need you to build this for a video, or we need you to do this to show the capability. What's something you built that you really like with this stuff?
That's hard. I don't know, because like a lot of times, like it sounds terrible because I have all these resources to use, but a lot of times I don't want to build stuff because like it's what I do for 8 hours a day minimum, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, I get that. I
I mean,
completely get
honestly, I probably made more stuff before I did this as a full-time job.
it. Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've built some tables and things like that,
Yeah.
and um, a lot of like custom signs projects for my mom loves to give me projects to do to make for Christmas presents for her friends and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that.
Mom's always like that.
Oh yeah. Um, I don't know. I think one of my favorite projects I've done with the CNC, I guess I made it's really simple. It was just shelves that I made for a coffee shop here in town. But I made all of the brackets. I made custom brackets with the CNC
Oh,
because they
cool.
wanted a specific thing, and I couldn't find anything similar anywhere. And I was just like, I could just make these on the CNC. So uh, that's really nice to be able not just to make like a full project on the CNC, but I really like making parts for things just because like it's really handy.
So I mean, like we talked about, I've seen you at a couple different things, and I love you. I mean, it goes kind of without saying, you have a really deep knowledge of the machines, not only what they can do, but also how to program them. And it's interesting watching you play around. When we were at Maker Camp, you were fiddling on the Masso controller and getting some things set up, and it's really neat. Like I don't have that kind of experience when I or expertise, I would say. Like I don't think about that naturally, and I think that you guys do. Uh, so hold on, I just want to read this question. Ever think of doing? That's a great question. I like that, veterans. Um, you know, so I mean, you guys do a couple of things like that, right?
Yeah, that's more. I mean, I don't know who would do that. Usually, so how it kind of works is I do all of like our technical videos and like the support stuff,
Uh huh.
or like showing how a product works specifically, and then Morgan kind of does like showing here's we're gonna do this project, and he's gonna kind of show you how to do that project and what he used to do it, and kind of not walk you through it step by step, but kind of give you a guideline to go by. Whereas mine is just like we're putting stuff together most of the time. He's way more creative than I am, so he's way better at that stuff. But I am very like technically minded, so the kind of stuff like I guess the capabilities I can do that. I don't enjoy those videos or making them. Those are the ones that are hard to make because you have to get all the little details.
Yeah, yeah. Those are
It's
tough.
it's just hard to fit that into my schedule, honestly,
Yeah.
because I've got so much other stuff going on. So
Oh, and you know what? Things change too, and it's so frustrating. I got a message from a customer of mine who bought one of my jigs, and the video that I have made for it, we were sending out 1.5 and 1.25 inch screws, and we started sending out just 1.25 inch screws. And this person got so mad at me because on the video I'm saying the two types of screws, and
mm.
they only got the one type, and I can't even imagine what it would be for like you guys with changing things and everything else. That's tough. That's tough to keep up with. It's tough to deal with.
Well, usually I have to. I mean, I say usually. I always have to change the video whenever we change stuff like that. It's just like it's one of those things. It's not fun, but
Yes.
it's worth it in the long run because if you don't, you get people that are mad and people that. I mean, it's not like asking questions is a bad thing, but the fewer questions we can get asked, the better for us. You know.
Right. Right. I mean, that's perfect. So, all right. So you got your shop, you got your tools. Just out of curiosity, what's your favorite machine to run?
Um. Well, lately it has been I have a wall-mounted Journeyman Pro series, and I've been
Okay.
running the rotary on that a lot. Um,
I saw the Spider Man. I
yeah,
like
so
Spider Man a lot.
I got Spider-Man and the skull, and then this one was This was actually the first thing I did. It was very ambitious of me, but it's my maker scan.
Oh wow! Here, hold on. Let me do this. Let me see if I can. No, I was trying to
It's
make
all
you
good.
big.
It's okay. But that was my first rotary project, and uh, that was my second attempt at that, and it came out like that. So I was pretty pleased with that. But
That's pretty. You know what that should be is a beer tap,
that would be good.
right? How cool? Oh my god! How cool would it be if the bar at Maker Camp had handles? Each of their taps was Pat and Jimmy and Graz and Derek
That'd be really
and
cool.
Pat and yeah. Oh my God, Paul, that would be hilarious. Each of those guys like that as a tap.
That
That
would be
would be
super cool.
that would be phenomenal. All right, so talk to me now. You guys came out with a whole bunch of things, right? I'm really excited. I thought that the things you guys came. I know this was back in Thanksgiving, but I'm really excited with the stuff. How's the shipping and everything going with that stuff?
It's gone good. So waiting on the last couple parts. Rotary should be shipping in the next week or so. Um, a lot of the machines have already shipped out. Obviously, that was a couple months ago now, but
Yeah,
um, machines, spindles, we've shipped a couple hundred spindle kits already. Um, so we're just kind of cranking it out as fast as we can. And as soon as we get more parts in, we get the next batch of stuff out, and it's kind of just a rinse and repeat thing right now until we're caught up.
it's nice. I love the look of that ATC. That I think was one of the things I was most excited to see coming out. I just think that that's the coolest thing ever.
It is really cool. I've only used it a couple times just because I've been so focused on all the rotary stuff, getting all the post processors for Vectric and Carveco and writing manuals and stuff. I've been focusing on that. So uh, some of our other guys kind of in the background, and they like to stay in the shadows. But they've been working on that for us and getting that stuff fixed up and finalized, and just getting everything documented so we can
Yeah,
have that ready when they start shipping. So
nice, exciting. So let's shift gears for a second. I want to talk like I said earlier. I want to talk about the going to these trade shows. How you said when we started before I started talking to him and you guys were all on, he and I were talking, and you said you're tired because you've been to a lot of trade shows,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, having not gone to a trade show as as a brand, but as a person, um, what is that like for you?
It's interesting. It kind of depends on the size of the show and kind of like who's there, like what type of crowd it is. They're all a little different, but they're interesting because you never know who you're going to meet at one of those things. Um, but I don't know that I could say like they're all one way. Some of them are complete, like IWF last year, where um, you so kindly let me stay in your hotel room.
I
We
had the
were
space.
Yeah, so there's just so many people and so many booths there. It's very everything's transactional.
Yeah, I let me say this for anybody who I know there's a couple people who've been to these. IWF is is a super huge show. If you can think of the largest indoor space that you have ever been in,
hmm
that's one probably half of one of the rooms. Like right? How else do you
It was
describe
in
it?
it was in like every one of the rooms was like 200 yards long, and there was three of them, like you said,
Yeah,
and
took
it
me
was
15 minutes to walk across.
yeah. I was talking to I don't know who it was, someone at the big one of the bigger booths where they had it's like a $2 million CNC machine.
Right.
And he was telling me they had started setting up a month before the show just because like it takes so long you have to get all the people in the center in, and then you have to build out from around there. So like it's like a little city in there almost.
I cannot imagine. Well, I mean, the thing was, some of the machines, like you said, those huge CNCs, those things are made to go into a location, be bolted down, and never moved again. And here
Exactly.
they are bringing it in and setting it up for a week at show, and then taking it out.
Crazy.
So how many of those types of shows do you go to?
So IWF, we didn't even have a booth. I was just kind of there walking the floor and talking to other brands and, just kind of networking. But other than that, the only show that's similar to that we do is we're going to AWFS this year for the first time. So
I'm going to be there. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I got to share this with everybody. I'm going to AWFS. It's all about you, but I got to share about me for a second. I am going to be there as a student judge. I'm going to be going there to judge work of the kids that make stuff, or adults or students, and then I get to do like educational stuff. And I'm just excited because I've never been to Vegas, and I'm going to get to hang out with you guys.
I've never been to Vegas either, so we're in it together.
We're going to be there. We're going to have a good time. So like, what is the goal for you and for you guys? I'm feeling bad. Like this, the purpose of this was not to bring you on to talk about to be Onefinity.
Oh, it's all good.
But that was not my goal. But it is falling a little bit into that, and I'm sorry about it. But nice, Rosie's going to be there as well. She's the one who actually helped me get the gig, so I appreciate you, Rosie. Sarah, sorry, Rosie's Woodshop, Sarah. So what is the goal of you guys going to this type of show? Because it's a massive show.
Yeah, so obviously it is a lot bigger show, but AWFS is still kind of more consumers. I'm trying to think of the words here. It's more targeted towards people who are actually going to buy a product, not just like IWF, where it's very industrial, where you are going because you're buying manufacturing equipment. That's not to
Right.
say, like, I know there are people out there that are using the Onefinity for manufacturing, like you're making your jigs and all that on it, and you're selling those. So, but it's a lot bigger scale at IWF, where
Right.
AWFS we fit in more with the consumer products. You still have SawStop and things like that, DeWalt or Milwaukee or whoever it is, where it's
Right.
you're buying a tool that you can use at your home or in your shop. You're not buying something for some industrial company.
Well,
Well, like Surf Prep, they're kind of in an interesting position because like they had a big old booth at IWF with their trailer in there.
right.
And we all think of Surf Prep as the electric ray sanders that we use for our woodworking stuff, but like they're making air tools that they're using in massive factories to build furniture too. So
Right.
they fit more into that. Where at AWFS they may be, after more of a consumer market like Onefinity would be. So at the end of the day, sales are always the thing at shows. Like we want to make sales,
Obviously.
but at the same time, every time you go to a new show in a new area, you're going to get more people who may not have heard about your brand that are going to be more aware of it. And even if you just get onto their radar, you've gotten something from them rather than, just like Workbench Con. It's not to say we don't get anything out of it, but a lot of the same people are there every year. So it's not like we know we're not going to make as many sales at Workbench Con, if any, it's just you're going for a different reason.
Yeah. I see that. I hadn't thought about that, especially with something like, again, we've talked about it. I like Workbench. I think it's a great time, but like you said, it's a lot of the same
Yeah.
people, and that's difficult.
I mean, for us, like Workbench Con and Maker Camp are shows where we're not expecting to make as much sales, but we are interacting with the people that we are working with on a daily basis in person.
Right.
And that's one thing I think that's really cool and I really like about my job is because there's not a lot of companies that do that on the level that we do it at. I mean,
Right.
like you said, like I am part of the Onefinity team, but like I'm just a person too. And like Morgan's just a person, and like we go to these shows and like
Morgan's not a person. Morgan is a god.
Morgan's an animal. You haven't shared a room with him. But no, I mean, like we go to these shows and like, yes, we work at the Onefinity booth and during the day while we're working, we're the Onefinity guys, but at the same time, like even throughout the day and
Right.
whenever we get through with the show for the day and we're just hanging out, like we're just part of the gang.
I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for. Um, I'm thinking about myself and how I, feel about things, but uh, whenever you have that personal connection, you're more likely to build the brand loyalty. Like
Yeah,
I am, if another machine comes out that, hey, I like this, I might look at that machine, but say, no, I'm really happy with my company because I have that relationship with you guys. So I think that, coming back to the statement about going to WBC and not seeing the sales, I agree. I see the value in that. I see how that's really useful.
yeah. And I mean,
Um,
like, it's not that we're not going to make any money or we don't have the chance of making money at it, but it's important to have like it starts out, some of these people you meet before you work with them, some of them they reach out over the internet and you work with
yeah.
them. But being able to get together with some of those people, like, I mean, obviously, like, I met you online before we met in person, but then we meet at Workbench Con last year, and then fast forward 5 or 6 months, we're sharing a room. Like,
Right, right,
not just a business relationship, like you're making genuine connections and friends, and that's important. I mean, because like you said, people are going to be loyal to that.
right. And at the end of the day, you guys are obviously a business, and it's always tough. There's always a fine line. Everything else. Well, I'm excited. So you're gonna go there. I'm just curious the size of the booth. I don't. Yeah, some of the other guys. I'm trying to figure out the way to say this. I'm sorry. You've never been to AWFS
Hmm.
and Vegas. Has Morgan, anyone else, have they been there and gone through it?
Morgan has been, but he's never. I don't know that he's ever been a
No,
exhibitor. I know
no,
he might have when he was with Microjig, but I
right.
don't think they ever exhibited. I think he just kind of walks the floor and you know,
So he has an idea though. Like, so for you
yeah,
guys, do you like? Obviously, the booth sizes are going to be different at a thing like Workbench versus AWFS, simply because of the cost.
sure.
So, does that play into what you're going to take and how you're going to look?
I mean, kind of, but not too much. Um, we're really trying to focus on going to more shows and being in person, because that's what people want. They want to see a machine in person before they buy
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Um, so I've actually been kind of, I don't know what to call it. I've been given the blessing to do whatever I want and just make our booth really nice. So
okay,
going forward, we're going to have some big changes at the Onefinity booth. If you see us at any show, pretty much, um, maybe not too much at Maker Camp, just because Maker Camp's a little different.
yeah,
But
yeah.
for the more traditional shows, we're kind of cranking it up a couple notches.
What are you thinking? Anything you can tell us here?
I mean, sure, I mean, yeah, it's nothing too crazy yet. Actually, today I just ordered some new pop-up banners, just for having some information in the booth that people don't have to ask the same million questions about.
Right, right,
That's just as much for the people as it is for me and Morgan, so we don't have to answer how much does it cost or whatever. So we've got some like basic pricing and stuff, and some information about all the different accessories that you can use with all of our machines.
right.
Working on some new display stuff. One thing that one thing that we want to do. This is a Morgan idea, but he wants to. And I think this is awesome. This is a really great idea, way to show the machine off without having to even run it. But making some projects that we can have on display, but also having a video that complements them, showing how you make those things with a CNC.
Right.
Because a lot of people walk up and they see it and they're like, "Oh, that's cool. I want to watch this," but they don't understand the first thing about how it works or how you can do, a certain type of carve or whatever that may
Right.
be. So it kind of just makes it a little easier to comprehend, wrap your brain around.
Well, it's also hard to have a machine running when people are walking around and there might be little kids and somebody wants to
Eh,
come up and touch the project.
yeah, that's the biggest thing is, um, like obviously when you're filming something, it's hard to put a dust boot on the machine, and I really just don't like using it because I like to see what's going on, but at the same time, I can't go to a show and uh, leave a dust boot off because there, like you said, could be a little kid come up and
Right,
stick
right.
his finger in the bit or something like that. So there's some liability, and I
Yeah.
mean we've got insurance, but at the same time, I am a little bit
Yeah.
more nervous about that just because like I when I'm the only one in the shop, I don't have to worry about that. But when
Right,
I've got
right.
hundreds of people walking by every hour, it's a little nerve wracking sometimes.
So for you personally, let's come back to just talking about you instead of you and Onefinity. What are some things you see for yourself? Like you're on this content creator, like you are a content creator, even though, well, you kind of are. I mean, that's what you started, right? You're
Yeah.
also a maker, even though that's what you're doing as your day job, right?
Hmm.
What do you see for yourself just going forward? Like, how do you see the Onefinity playing out? What is your overall goal?
I mean, I love my job. I don't have any plans of going anywhere anytime soon. Um, they take really good care of me, and I get to travel for work, and
Can't
I'm
beat
young
that.
and single, so I mean, like it's easy. So I'm the one that they're just go. So I just go and do it, and
Go to
uh,
England.
go to. I've been to England, I've been to Canada, I've been all over the U.S. So um, yeah, so it's just, I mean, it's fun to get to do that stuff. So, um, but I mean, eventually, I mean, it'd be great to be able to take another step up. And I mean, like I said, there's Onefinity is not a big company, and I
No.
answer directly to our owners, but at the same time, like it would be cool to eventually get to a point where they can take a step back and I can kind of take the reins or
Yeah.
have me and whoever else, but to be able to keep growing this thing because like I said, I've been basically from the beginning. I've been here and
Yeah.
uh, getting to work for all of these people. They're fantastic people behind Onefinity. Um, I cannot speak highly enough about all of our owners, all of the other people that are working at Onefinity that nobody ever sees,
Right.
because there's so many good people that just like genuinely make it fun to come to work.
Yeah.
Um, whether it's a Teams call where we we talk about whatever business, and then at the end we all crack jokes at each other, or sharing stuff about our families or whatever it is. It's a really good place to work, and I just really enjoy the work that I'm doing. Um, so for now, my plan's just to stay with Onefinity and
Right.
keep growing with them. So
I think that's a good plan. I mean, you're doing a great job with it. Um, so
I
if
appreciate that.
I'm always blown away. I love watching it. Like I said, I love your technical expertise. So let's take a step into that technical expertise for a second. I have Carveco. You got a
Sorry, my
cat?
dog's trying.
Oh,
No, my dog is trying to eat the wire to my light, and she doesn't usually chew on things, so it's a little nerve wracking.
my
We're good.
dog chewed on my the power cord for my other laptop. So I have Carveco, and I really like Carveco um, for what it is. I don't really know much about Vectric. Um, what's the difference, just as a general? Hey, let's have this conversation. What is the difference between those, if you can?
So, I mean, they both do the same things. They just do it a little bit differently. Um, so, little backstory: Carveco and Vectric both started with a bunch of people that worked at a company called Delcam, which was a cam software company, just like Vectric and Carveco are. And they had a product called ArtCam, which was basically what Carveco has become. So that team or that company was sold to Autodesk. Autodesk dissolved a lot of the company and took the products that they wanted. Um, and then about half of the people that were from Delcam before they got bought out and were working at Autodesk split off, started Vectric, and then another group of people left Autodesk, and they restarted up the ArtCam thing and developed that into what is now Carveco.
Okay.
So they both started working at the same place, doing the same company, doing the same, uh, making the same product, and like I said, they both do the same things. But what it really boils down to is they're just laid out differently, and they have a few different functions. But it's really just what is what I kind of tell people is it really boils down to what did you start with? Because I started with Vectric, so now I use Vectric more than I use Carveco.
Okay.
Um, I still use Carveco, but if I have an issue with something in Carveco, I go to Vectric right away because I know how to do it in Vectric. It's easier.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like, what am I more familiar with? What am I more comfortable with? But the products do the same things. I would say Vectric is a little easier, I think, to design in, but Carveco, think, is easier to design in 2.5 and 3D, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're doing like reliefs and things like that, Carveco is way easier for sure.
Cool.
But Vectric and Carveco, they have all pretty much the same tools and the same toolpath types. It's just, like I said, it looks a little different.
All right. So now, for you, if you had one friend you could be more like, who would you be more like and why?
That's really hard. Oh, I don't know.
You get to meet a lot of different people. Like you've got a lot of friends, you got a lot of people you're hanging out with, right?
Yeah. Man, that's a really good question.
All right, I'll give you a different one. What's your favorite food and why?
That's an even harder question.
What? Giving you softballs.
No,
I'm
no,
trying
no,
to,
no. Okay, I
I'm
take that
trying to
back.
get us
My
to know.
favorite food, I am a sucker for a brisket.
Good stuff. My wife makes a good brisket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being from Texas, barbecue is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
way up here, you know.
Where are you
Brisket
at in
king
Texas?
from Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got all sorts of pecan lodge, Terry Blacks. Hard Eight used to be pretty good. They kind of gone downhill a little bit, but we got all sorts of different places around here. Hutchins. I love barbecue. Barbecue and Dr. Pepper, could live on it.
um,
Um, you know, I got an answer to your first question.
all right, let's hear it.
My person I would want to be like, I want to go with Morgan because I know it's a cheesy answer, but like I never have a bad time with Morgan. I never leave Morgan feeling worse. I always feel better. And that's the kind of person I want to be, you know?
I like that. He's a great guy. Like I'm gonna have him on. I got to get it scheduled, but I want to talk to him about his small shop because I really want to talk about how he's organized and how he gets stuff. But he's always a fun guy to talk about or talk to. And we have a couple people who said that they like telling people to use Carveco because it's a $15 a month option.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
If you buy a pro or elite, you get it for free for a year too. So that's
Yeah. I just had the upgrade or the yearly email. So all right. Well, I mean that's all good stuff. I like to hear the stuff that Onefinity is doing, and I like to hear the successes. Do you guys worry? I know you sent out an email about the tariffs. You guys aren't worried about any of the tariffs or anything like that.
not right now. I mean, hopefully,
Obviously, they've been paused, obviously, but
yeah,
if they aren't paused, if they come back, you guys said you're not going to worry about that. So I wanted to apologize.
yeah. No, I mean it's right now. We're at a point where we can take care of it, and we don't want to push that off to our customers if we don't have to. So we're not going to. But we're really hoping things get resolved. That's why they've been paused in the first place, is so they
Right.
can have discussions about that stuff. So hopefully it'll all blow over and it won't be anything that we have to worry about. But I mean, eventually, yeah, I guess it could be. But right now, we're not super worried about it. But we'll see where things go. I guess it's just one of those things that's out of our control, and I
Yeah.
mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
No, it's I hated it.
It is
Uh,
funny that we've gotten a lot of emails over the last week or so about an orange man. Those specific words being used, just
really,
the orange man.
that's funny. I
Yeah,
mean, I as obviously, we all worry about the tariffs and how they're going to affect stuff. So I guess we just got to wait and see what happens.
yeah,
Evan asked if the Carveco guys are coming to Workbench.
yeah. So both Rob and Rob. I guess most of you guys. Well, I take that back. So there's two Robs, Rob Newman and Rob. I can't think of his last name. He's Australian Rob.
Okay.
So those are two of the directors from Carveco. They're going to come, and Leighton, the guy that does all the videos, will
Right.
be here as well. So Leighton's actually going to make a video with me for Onefinity while we're there. So
Nice. You guys going to go to Hamilton shop?
yeah, we're going to go to Hamilton's for Ham Bench Con, as we call it. This
See,
is the third.
I'm going to be honest. The only reason not the only, one of the things I am most upset about not going is I really wanted to go to Hamilton shop.
It's funny
100%.
it started off as like it was just a real informal. I mean, it is still real informal, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
me and Morgan sleep in Hamilton's basement, and
Yeah.
the Carveco guys have gotten a hotel. But we just go and we hang out at Hamilton shop. The last 2 years, we've done some video stuff. Like I
Right.
said, me and Leighton are making one short video, but nothing crazy. But we don't really have any plans this year. We're just kind of hanging out. So Hamilton bought his machine, 4 years ago. He bought it and he started a YouTube channel. And I think either I found it or one of my friends found the video. And it was just him, like, he basically said at the beginning, like, don't do what I'm doing. I have no clue what I'm doing. I thought it was hilarious, and I reached out to him and kind of started a friendship. And now this will be the third year in a row we've gone to his house before Workbench Con. So.
I would love to go, and I love what he's doing with the CNC with me. He's done a
Mhm.
great job with that. It's fantastic. He's really pushing that, and it's just impressive. It really is. So I would love to do that. Obviously, I'm going to miss my friends. Evan is going to be there, and I don't know. It's just it's a good time, and I have FOMO. I definitely have FOMO.
I think this will be this will be my third year. And did you go? You went last year. You didn't go the year before,
I
did
did
you?
not go the year before.
Okay.
Last year was my
So was it
first.
that your first year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had a great time, and that's part of the problem is that I had too much fun, and I don't feel like I didn't necessarily get out of it what I put into it.
Yeah.
And that still irritates me, but it's also the money. I think that for me, it's got to be an every other year type thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't think about it, but being in New York, Maker Camp is just a short drive for you. It's not too bad. Whereas
3 hours. Yeah.
going to Atlanta, you got a pretty good trip there, so it
Right.
makes sense. But
Yeah.
we'll miss you this year, man.
You guys pour one out for me.
We will. We
Um,
will for sure.
Well, it'll be a good time. I mean, you guys, there's always good stuff to learn, and I'll get Morgan on, and he'll tell us all the important stuff that we learned there. I'm sure he's got a lot of stuff. All right. Last couple of questions. If you had to write a book, what would you write a book about?
Oh my. I have no clue. I have no idea, honestly.
That's fine.
That's a really good question. I'm going to be thinking about that.
It's tough. Like, you think about yourself. What are your skills? What are the things you might be able to do? it is definitely tough. So here's another question, and this is going to be near where we end up. I want to know if you're talking to people all the time. So this might be a standard question for you, but what are you going to tell somebody starting out in woodworking, in CNC? What is one big piece of advice you might give somebody starting out with machines?
Don't wait, just do it.
Okay.
Uh, I think it's really easy for people to get in their head about, making sure everything is perfect, which obviously you want things to be perfect, but at the same time, if you just spend all your time worrying about getting everything exactly right, you're never going to start. And if it's your first time doing something, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're learning. Um, but that's the big thing, is be able to learn from your mistakes, I guess, or
Right.
your non-mistakes, your successes and your failures. Because like there's things to learn no matter what you do. It's just how you look at the situation, I guess. Um, I'm not going to say that like I do everything perfect the first time in a video. Like there's a lot of times where I have to stop and look at something before I even start and just kind of figure out what I'm doing. But at some point, I can't just stare at it and think about it. I have to start doing something or I'll never get anything done.
Right. Right. I actually had my spindle, my the collet and the collar slipped. I ruined two different pieces. I broke a bit the other day, and it's like it's like one of those things. You're like, well, I could have sat there and waited and tried to double check and triple check, but I was like, all right, I think it's okay, and I went and tried it, and instead I watched it, and you just got to do it,
Yeah.
like the Nike swoosh.
Yeah. That may not be the best example for what I was trying to say, but
No, but I think it's important to look at. This is not one of your spindles. Um, I think it's important to look at it, and you have to move forward. You cannot leave things. I personally, I think that if you worry too much, you're going to worry yourself out of doing anything.
mm-hmm,
So
absolutely.
right. So I think that's a big idea, and that's a similar thing to what you're trying to say. You don't need all the things to start. I like that 405 said that you nailed it, Stone. Nothing is perfect without trial and errors. I like that. Good stuff. So for everybody listening, real quick, next week I'm going to be talking to Ben Myers, who is I'm gonna say it here. He is an Etsy guru. That's why I want him on. The guy I met Ben in person last year at Workbench, and Dan Dunlap posted something about he had like X number of sales, and Ben posted on there, talk to me when you get to, I think it was like 15,000 or something like that. The guy he's a beast. So I want to talk to him next week. Ben, we're going to talk about just building the sales and how you do that. Oh, I like that. Tools will break, and don't beat yourself too hard about it. Right?
Yeah.
Nothing you can do.
I've got a
Um,
drawer full of broken bits next to me right here.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I have so many. All right. I think, Stone, what is the last thing you would like to end on? What is the last thing you want to tell our people?
I don't know, honestly, other than just like thank you guys, because like Logan said at the beginning of this, like when I started at Onefinity, I was not part of this community, and I just kind of inserted myself into it, and everybody just kind of accepted me and took me in, and now I feel like I've known all these people for forever. Um, but it's really cool to be a part of and get to not just do it in my spare time, but do this as like a full-time job and getting to interact with all you people. And it's just, I say that all you people, that doesn't sound great, does it? But getting to interact with all you guys, just and like having fun with my job, but also, you know, not
Yeah,
not just working, but making the real connections at all these events. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. So I appreciate everybody that lets me do that, and I'm just grateful for people like you who I get to do this stuff with.
it's cool. It's fun. I listen. We all appreciate you, your knowledge. the information that Onefinity puts out, the tools that Onefinity comes up with, and the fact that you get to write all these manuals to teach us how to do it.
Nah, that's the worst part. It's not
Yeah.
too bad, but it's just boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
You got to go through and do it and set up everything. Well, listen, I'm proud to know you. I'm impressed with how far you've come. From video guy to vice president in 4 years. Not everybody can say that.
I don't know if I can actually say that, but
We're gonna say it.
all right,
We're gonna
I'll
say
take
it.
it.
All right. You guys have a great evening. Thank you for everyone who is here. 405 Woodcraft, and keep it up, dude. You're awesome, Stone. Joey Steelblade, thanks for being here. Stone for the win, Evan, and of course my guy Ryan. Thank you guys. I'm gonna hit end live now. I gotta do it on both. I wish I remembered how to do it. There we go. I'm gonna end live.
Bye.